Welcome to my Commodore 64 Games memories. This is where I look at old games and some of the technical details behind them. Let's get into it. Today we have Battleships by Elite Systems. Published in 1987. Developed by Chris Butler, and the musician is Mark Cooksey. So the objective of this game is battleships, but on the Commodore 64. You can decide how you want to set up your ships, you can rotate them around, you can also move them. Player 2, who would normally be my brother, would then take over at this point. To be honest, I didn't really play many games against the computer. This was just a game that my brother and I could just play together and enjoy. Another game that we could play together was actually Whizball. But this isn't Whizball, this is Battleships. So here we are, finishing up the placement for the other ships. Now, because salvo mode is turned on, the players get to choose 4 shots for each ship that is still alive. So you can see here that player 1 is shooting at player 2, and of course player 1 knew where player 2's ships are. They've all been moved up at the top of the screen, or the map rather. So it's going to be relatively easy to destroy most of the ships. The thing I like about this game is that the music actually fits quite well with what the game is doing. So this battle sequence has active music, and this part of the game where you're choosing where you want to shoot is quite mellow and relaxing. Player 2 is not really trying that hard. And actually missing quite a lot of my ships. Here we go again. Player 1 is going to fire another 20 shots. Well, in a bit. At the moment I'm waiting for the intermission screen to come on. And that's another thing that I quite liked about this game. When I was, so much younger than I am today, I used to imagine the airplanes would hurt my ship, but of course they don't, they're just part of the animation. Every single shot from the airplane seems to miss the ship. So we can see here on the right hand side that there's a little SOS inflatable, or float rather, and this indicates that there are 2 ships that have already been destroyed that are on the player 2 side. I don't think I'm going to get the aircraft carrier this time around, and maybe the smallest ship, which I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it would be a frigate or something like that. Might get that one. Or maybe not. The submarine looks like it's just hanging in there, which is strange. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm pretty sure I know where the other two ships are. Oh look, player 2 managed to hit one of my ships. Just once. Player 2 has markedly fewer shots now, which is a good thing because it makes the game a lot quicker. And now it's my go again. Well, guess where the aircraft carrier is? Well, I know where it is because I saw it. And there's the last square for the submarine, and now I just need to place down 14 more shots. Here we go. Boom. I really like the explosion off in the distance just over the horizon on the sea. I really like the use of expanded sprites for the explosions on the ships. I actually think having nice large sprites like that adds to the atmosphere. So in a short while we'll go into some of the more technical details about this game, and we can deduce, oh there we go, we can deduce what hardware features are used. So here's the winning music, nice and celebratory. I think my frigate down at the bottom was hit once, so it's going to be a little bit slower. And there we go. Back to the title screen. So there is actually music on the title screen too. Here I'm just selecting my name. And now this is just kind of like demonstrating the multiplayer aspect for this game. So the multiplayer aspect for this game is that two players duke it out and they enter their names, and then the winning player keeps their name and the new player comes along and the new player has to enter their name again. Theoretically this allows a potential infinite number of multiplayer games, but only two players at a time. So winner stays on, basically. Like if you're, I don't know, down the pub and there's a pool table and you're winning your game of pool, and then the next person wants to have a game and they put their money down on the pool table. And then if you win, you stay on, and then the other person gets to play. I always quite liked winner stays on. If you're good at the game, you get to stay playing for free because the other person has to pay. So now, let's have a look at some of the technical details behind this game. So here we are again in ICU Debugger. Now I'm going to go through the memory with the character screen display just to see what we have. Found the game screen just then. Cycling through, there it is. Lots and lots of blank memory. Higher up, about half of the memory is not used. So there's the character screen, but with the wrong graphics, of course, with the wrong characters. I'm just looking through the memory data to see if I can notice anything significant, but not really. The first screen bank at 0400, the default one, up in the top right hand corner of the screen, looks mostly empty. Looks like there's a little bit of extra code or data up at the top in the first roughly 256 bytes. Nothing really of significance at the moment. However, I've just had a funny idea. So when the game starts, the game is using the same kind of memory address for its game display, and we can see here that there are a whole bunch of sprites. Now what I'm interested in is that I want to try and find out where the ship information is. So if I set to the rotate mode and I continuously rotate this long 5 square long ship and rotate it, you can actually see here in the character screen data, you can see rotating characters. This indicates to me where it is sitting in memory, but I want to find the start of the map memory, so I move the long ship all the way up to the top left. Now I notice that the long ship is using a particular bunch of character cells, and if I move it around left and right specifically, you can see that those characters are shifting in the character display. So what I can do is that I can narrow down where this is actually starting by using the machine code monitor. So here we are in the machine code monitor, and I hunt between some addresses, which I know where the character screens are roughly, and I look for this sequence of characters, and there it is. There's only one instance of this sequence of character numbers. So I know that the map is 20 by 20 characters. So what I want to try and do now is that I want to actually try and view what the map is, but in the machine code monitor, using the memory display. It needs to be a little bit wider. If I make it a little bit wider, then it's 20 numbers across, 20 hex numbers, 8-bit values across. Now I want to make it 20 rows, not just 20 columns, so out comes calculator. Decimal mode to start with. There we go. Now going into hex mode and adding the start of the map address. There we go. And that's the end. So if I do a memory dump with this particular width of the window, there we go. I get the full map. Into -1, of course. There we are, because it's 0 inclusive memory ranges, of course, as you would normally expect. So there we go. We can see here that you can see the long ship here, which matches up to the long ship's position in the map, which is being displayed there. And we can see that the the aircraft carrier is also visible. We can see that we've got, what is it, the destroyer, I'm guessing. Let's get rid of that window, don't know why it popped up. We can see that we've got the frigate and also the submarine in the right place too. We can see that the ships have a specific numbering scheme. So the long ship up in the top left it uses a particular number. The battleship, the aircraft carrier in the bottom left also uses a different number. What I'm surmising at the moment is that these different numbers signify the different ships, and when the game notices that there is one being shot at, it will probably look this up into some kind of like table to help with the animation for the destruction sequence and stuff like that. So what we can do here is that for player 2 we can try and find the start of the player 2 map in memory. Just a guess, but logic at this point would tend to tell me that the start of the player 2 map would be almost certainly be directly after the end of the player 1 map. So we do hunt again, and this time we come up with 2 addresses. One is the address for the player 1 map, and then the other address is probably the start for the player 2 map. So if we do a memory dump in the machine code monitor for that address, plus again 20 times 20 in decimal, so we'll just quickly calculate that one. Here we go. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, yes, yes. If I can type correctly, then of course, that would always help. There we go. Okay. Now we can quite clearly see here that the ships in the memory dump correspond to the ship positions on the map. So I came up with a very daft idea at this stage that if I wanted to win this game in one round, perhaps all of the squares used by the ships all added up together, the number of squares for all of the ships, it adds up to 20, I think. So what we have here is just a little chart of, this is for the ship, and we can see here it has got the ship index number and then with the number of cells used for each ship. So adding all of those up together, adding all of those numbers up together, we get 20. So we can cheat by, I think, once player 2 has decided where they want to put their ships. There we go, player 1 is now going to start shooting. So we can cheat. We put all of the ship data into the player 2 map, like this. So we have 6 slots of 7. And so on for each of the ship index values. Of course, you'll notice that the number of cells is decreasing because the ships get progressively smaller, of course. Just double checking my maths, and yeah, it does all add up to 20. Of course, we just double check what data we've got in the map, and we can see here that all of the ship data is aligned up at the top. The game actually doesn't seem to differentiate, doesn't seem to care when you are destroying ships that aren't in their assigned positions, of course, because it thinks that the internal map data is correct. So we will just send over all of the salvos all in one go. Now, to be able to do this in a regular game, of course, you would have to cheat, or you would have to be incredibly lucky with placing down all of your 20 shots. So here we are. Now, the internal map data here is now showing that it changes the character cell index to be a different value to indicate that there's a bombed square. Now, if we look at the screen and the character screen with the correct character set, not the backup character set. There's a backup character set and then there is a live one. We can see that actually the character set is being updated to make the ships sync. These aren't sprites, they're characters. We can see actually that the backup, that the primary displayed character set is being animated in terms of just updating its memory. Which is a good way of getting that syncing effect. To be honest, you're just scrolling the character data off the bottom of the characters. And there we go. Player 1 has cheated and, in inverted commas, won the game. Player 2 didn't even get to have a shot. Pleasantly surprised, actually, that the game handles it. It doesn't even need to display the player 2 section of the game. Fantastic. There we go. Player 1 wins. So yes, thank you very much for watching these in-depth technical review videos. If you really do like what you see, then please do like and or subscribe to this channel to let me know that you like these kind of videos, and I hope to see you around next time. Take care, have a great day, wherever you are.